I've worked with artists since about 2009 as an artist manager. I've run labels, publishing companies, and various music live touring businesses. I've seen quite a lot, and the conclusion is that music is broken. Today, artists don't actually sell music. Other people sell access to their music. So you're not paying $12 a month for music. You're paying $12 a month for Spotify. And the music kind of comes for free. And because of this, the middlemen control the whole thing. If fans want to buy a product today, they're pretty much stuck buying downloadable files. That's old technology. And the industry hasn't standardized around a digital product with more depth. Other creative industries have this. You've got games with skins, art's got NFTs, but music, we're still stuck in rental mode. So here's the opportunity. Let's give artists a product. We think an artist needs about $5K a month to survive, a reasonable quality of life, run a business, rent, living expenses, studio equipment, studio time, and of course, the middleman. Getting $5,000 from streaming equates to this. It's phenomenal. So 1.16 million streams on Spotify to get your $5,000 a month. That's crazy. 685,000 plays on Apple Music to get $5,000 a month. And you've got to do that every month. And then look at Amazon, 1.25 million streams of your song for only $5,000 a month. 400,000 plays on Tidal, which is the artist-friendly one. This is crazy. So let's take a little trip back in time. Has anyone here ever bought a CD? Anyone? Do you know what they are? Yeah. So we're taking a trip back to the Jurassic era, when you could buy a CD in the grocery store. And basically, we're going to compare 1 million streams to selling 1 million CDs. And we're selling these CDs at $1 in the grocery store. So look at that. The artist is netting $87,000 from selling those 1 million CDs. It's kind of the same audience size, and yet you're getting 17 times less income. And you've got to pay your middlemen from that. So who are these middlemen? Have a look. So we've got all of these people taking a little cut on the way. So you've got your music, you've put it out there, and these guys are all taking their bit. 15% to distributors. They used to have trucks and warehouses drive stock around. That was worth paying for. 15% for an automated ingestion portal just doesn't make any sense. If you're signed to a label, you're in a deal, 50% to the label. 15% to the artist managers. I mean, we do really important work. And then there's 5% to lawyers and accountants. So the middlemen used to be necessary for distribution, but the technology has changed that. There are other things that we get away with in music as well. This is a definition that I saw in a publishing contract about 10 years ago, and I was like, what is that? This basically says you may get paid some money in the future. It's money we knew about quite a long time ago. We're not quite sure how much you'll get paid or when. So imagine you run a business selling screws and nails globally. You wouldn't have a business for very long. I think you see the problem. There's a massive creator economy with no meaningful digital product to sell. There are 11 million artists on Spotify alone. We're building for them. We want to empower artists to package their creativity into multi-dimensional products, complete with audio, video, stems, scores, stories, and more. And we want fans to own the art they love, enjoy it with focused intent. We're giving artists their product back. We're giving artists their power back and a way to package their magic and actually sell it. So now I'll hand over to Brian, who's going to explain how we're doing that with Sui.
Thank you, Alex. Let's talk tech. Today we're introducing the Coda music format. So modern music formats are purely descriptive. They describe the technical properties of sound files, but they don't describe the emotional or economic outcomes of engaging with the sound file. Instead, the outcomes of engaging with music are proprietary and determined by the providers that sit between the artist and the fan. So if you accumulate some playtime on Spotify, that is only stored there. You don't get to access that from somewhere else. The Coda music format changes this. For the first time in history, code that transforms cause into effect when engaging with music is embedded directly into the format itself. And even better, it exists in a transparent environment, Sui. So kind of expanding on what Zach was talking about, we've developed this pretty in-depth format that consists of both the explicit and implicit properties of music, and it's represented on chain as a layer of Sui objects. So starting on the left, we have an object that describes the technical properties of the sound files. That's pretty much where the industry is now. When you purchase a sound file, that is basically what you have. But music is more than that. And through my background in music from a long time ago, we've developed this sense of like what an artist is actually making when they're in the studio. So we've developed this system that there's a mix that owns that object, and then the recording has a few mixes, and then the song is above that. So every layer, we're defining the fields that describe what it is, but also the behaviors of the state changes that can occur on that object. And we believe doing this will give the artist a transparent and fair economy to operate within, and it will ignite a new time of music production that we're calling open source music, where all of the data is on chain, it's accessible, it's not behind any kind of gate. So the first product that we're going to sell to consumers is the Coda record. This is the first, but not the only product that we're working on. So this is a packaging layer that's built on top of the format that I just talked about. It lets the artist create a high-res record, and because it has all of the extra data that's associated there, it feels like it has a lot of weight. So the Coda team right now is working one-on-one with bands from around the world to create their music exclusively for this new format, because it will require a new way of working to create all of that additional information that needs to be embedded into the format. An on-chain music economy, but for real this time. So Coda is an economy, and I think the currency is the engagement of music. So on the artist side, they provide the supply, and fans provide the opposite side. And between the artist and the fan, the code on Sui gives them the cause and effect that sits in between them. So when we were building out the cause and effect pipeline, which I'll talk a bit more about in a bit, we were heavily inspired by these processors. And the idea there is you feed a sound signal from the left, it runs through all of these different types of processors that transform the signal, and on the right, it spits out the actual sound that you want. So we believe this is really cool, and on-chain economies require on-chain information. So if we're trying to feed stuff in on the left, the information needs to be on-chain for there to be any signal to transform. So this is why it's so important to have the format that we worked out that tries to capture as many aspects as we can, because all of those different fields can be information that we then pass into this pipeline. And one practical example, let's say, is when a fan listens to a song, perhaps their stake of the token is staked towards the artist of the song for the amount of time that the song lasts for. So even something as seemingly simple as that is only made possible on Sui because we're able to store the amount of time of a song directly on chain, as opposed to standards on different chains where, as Zach mentioned, it's stored in a JSON object off-chain. The blockchain itself has no idea what this music actually is, how long it is, who wrote it, but thanks to Sui, we're able to capture all of that on-chain. So this is the pipeline. Coda has the concept of a consumable object. So that is a temporary object that is created when a user consumes something on chain. So for example, when we call the stop function on a record object, it actually creates a play object that must eventually be converted into attention. So from the play object, it basically extracts the amount of time of the play, as well as the number of tokens that the player has staked. And it transforms it into a generic attention object. We've all heard of attention economies, but I think we can go one step further, converting attention into focus. So attention is cheap because, especially in blockchain, there's often so many bots. People are trying to farm stuff all the time. So attention is cheap. We believe what we should optimize for is focus. So, for example, I hope you're focused on this talk right now. But if something outside captures your attention, I mean, that's just the attention, but your focus is still here. So there's a clear difference. And we were inspired from the processors that I spoke about, where the signal comes in on the left, exits out on the right, and the signal on the right is actually what you want. So we've developed this system where we're able to insert these processors between attention and focus. It's kind of loosely based on the transfer rules that are built into the Sui framework itself, where in order for a transfer to succeed, you have to pass it in through all of the rules defined on that object type. So, for example, the skip rate, we can actually detect if you keep skipping the record, the timestamps between play and stop are quite small. It probably means you're not super focused. Similarly, on the consumption, we want to optimize for a healthy degree of listening time each day. So the average person, like hardcore fan, they'll listen up to 5 hours a day. And what we can do here is then we design a curve that tops up at 100% at the 5 hour point, and maybe from 5 hours to 24 hours on, the curve slowly goes down. So this is an interesting way to help combat bots, because bots are typically just farming all day. They just farm all day, farm all day. Well, on our platform, if we detect that you're listening to music for 24 hours a day, your consumption score is going to be pretty bad. Lastly, we have another processor called completion. And completion just means, did you listen to the whole song? Did you listen to 10% of the song, 50% of the song? We derive a score based on that. So each processor spits out a multiplier that we apply to attention. And because attention captures the stake weight of the user, as well as the amount of time that they listen to a song for, we can apply a multiplier to the attention and calculate a focus score. That is then actually used to calculate how much of their time and how much of their stake weight does the artist actually get at the end. Next thing I want to talk about is dynamic identities for consumers. For Coda, we've developed this platform-aware account abstraction object. It has a built-in front end that consists of a character like this, as well as an embedded subname. It encourages the user to maintain a single identity instead of farming with many different addresses, because all of a sudden they now have this profile picture that everyone on the platform sees. So it will also use the dynamic properties of Sui to create a really engaging consumer experience. So we can imagine, like, once you start to play a song, the headphones come on. When you stop the song, the headphones come off. The artists on our platform will also be able to sell merch, and you'll be able to equip the merch. Like the hat might change, the shirt might change. For example, if there's like a really big band and they have a ton of fans who own the shirt, it's cool to see all the accounts on that platform change that shirt right before the big show. So this is the account abstraction object that must be passed into all of the functions on our platform. So we developed this idea of starting a session. So you are starting a session with your identity on-chain, and it's always the first transaction within your block. So it creates a hot potato object, which basically means it's an object that is created and must be destroyed within the same transaction. So if you want to do something on the platform, you have to get a session first. The session includes the ID of the account abstraction object, as well as the address that called it. We'll probably also add other stuff to it, such as like the stake weight at the time that you called the session. So this allows the protocol to accrue and tie activity to the account abstraction objects. So just to summarize, these are a few of the features that we've worked out. The on-chain information, we have this play to focus pipeline, has direct access to on-chain information, including the record's age, the time, the genre, as well as the account abstraction, playtime, stake, and more. So all of this information is on-chain. Because it's on-chain, we can use it to influence the economic outcomes. We have hot potato objects, which are attention objects, which must be transformed by all the processors in order for a transaction to succeed. Sui's feature makes it really easy to adapt to the changes without deploying new contracts, because all of this is done on the client side. Dynamic processors. Similar to Sui's native transfer policy architecture, the processors can be tweaked. We can put some in, we can take some out, and we can do this in response to the trends in the music world. So if we want to incentivize people to listen to a specific genre, we can introduce a new type of processor that slightly boosts songs that are like in jazz or in pop. It's pretty cool. So Sui is amazing. It really allows us to build a full stack Web3 app in a way that's not possible on any other chain. We're proud to say that we're pretty much using the entire stack, and we're going to be integrating with different dApps as well. So we're using Walrus for storage, Sui NS for identity, Deepbook for liquidity, Seal for privacy, and Sui for compute. When? So Coda has been in the works for a long time. We actually started building out the platform on a different blockchain years ago. We quickly hit a roadblock because we realized what we wanted to do required the data to be on-chain. So we were finally so excited when Sui came out, and we've been working on it since then. And today I'm happy to announce that we'll be going live with our smart contracts at the beginning of Q4. And by the end of Q4, we'll hopefully be able to have our app out with an initial cohort of bands that have made exclusive music just for our platform. Thank you very much.